Hello, hi, and welcome on in. This is another Adobe Express stream. My name is Annika, and this is Adobe Live. Thank you so much for being here. If you are watching this live, thanks for being here. You can say hi in the chat to us. We have a live chat both on YouTube and on Behance. So if you are on any of those platforms, go ahead and say hi in the chat. You can ask me questions while I am live. There is a chat moderator as well that can help you answer any questions that you might have. I want to say hi to everyone in the chat before we get started, but I want to say that we are designing reel covers today because everybody is using Instagram in this content heavy, video heavy world. I think intentionally designing stuff is really important. So we're going to design some reel covers. I'm really excited about it, but before we get started, let me say hi to the chat. I know Sin is here, Cody is here, Sean is here, Bruce, Paco. Love it. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks all for joining. Let's dive into what we're going into today. Let's see what we have. So this is Adobe Express. I'm gonna ignore that. We have Adobe Express here. This is how the landing page looks like. Give me a second. Let's actually fix this. One sec. We have some information about Adobe Express on the page. I'm gonna switch that up really quickly. Give me a second. And there you go. All right. So this is Adobe Express. If you've never used Adobe Express, you can go to express.adobe.com. That's going to give you this landing page. And I love that you can have all of these custom sizes. And if by one click, you can actually make a logo. So if I click on this plus button, it's going to open up a canvas and you can essentially make a logo from the template. It shows the logos panel by default, which is so cool because I can just go in here and say, hey, I want a coffee logo. I write coffee and we have all of these thousands and thousands of templates you can choose and pick from. So what I'm doing today is essentially that I made a coffee brand like ages ago and I want to repurpose my content. I want to see how I can use this coffee brand. So I went to the coffee, like the brands tab in Adobe Express, and I'm going to go to manage. If there's a star icon on any of your brands, that just means that it's like the default brand. I have manage right over here and I can see that these are the logos for this brand. There are colors, there are fonts and all of the brand, like how the brand appears on products, right? I'm trying to see the chat just to make sure that I'm not missing out on any questions. We have Jan. Hello. Welcome on in, everyone. Asha says, okay, cool. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. If you have any questions, again, make sure and feel free to put them in the chat. All right, so let's jump into it. I'm going to show you how these logos look like. This is the default logo. I've used this as my primary logo. I can go ahead and browse all of the logos that I have for this brand. But let's go ahead, start with a template and see what comes up. Okay, so I'm going to click on the plus button and go ahead and create an Instagram story. Now, if you've never really made any reels, it's essentially like a video content from 30 seconds to 1 minute, which is what is highly recommended because it's short form content and you would like to make it the same format as an Instagram story because it is the same resolution, right? So I selected Instagram stories. I want to look for coffee because we're designing something for a coffee brand. So there are a few templates right over here that you can choose and pick from. I love these, but there is also another way that you can access it. So I'm going to go back to my homepage, not save the project, and I'm going to write in coffee just to see what comes up here. All right, cool. So we have, like, it just says that we have 952 templates and I'm sure there are more. You can even access Adobe stock from in here. So let's actually, I really like this one and this is not a premium template. So it's easy to use. I can essentially just go and click on the start from button and start from there, right? All right, so this is the logo in here and I can essentially change that, but I have the logos tab and also the brands tab that I can access. So if I go to my design tab right here, you can see copy is the default brand that I have, right? So I want to change and design all my reels and make it very cohesive, which is exactly why I want to use this brand, right? So what happens if I click on shuffle? If I click on shuffle, it's going to apply the same colors that I have for my brand. Now, these colors look weird right now because I think this does not have removed, like the background is not removed. And I don't have to go to Photoshop. I can just be in Adobe Express and remove a background. So I'm going to click on the remove background button and see what happens. See how it comes up. Okay, Penny in the chat is amazed at the number of templates that we have in Adobe Express. Yeah, Penny right there with you. Okay, so this looks like it is doing a good job, so I don't need to do anything else, and I can just keep it right here. We have the logos panel right here, and this is the default logo, the primary logo that was in the brands panel that got applied here. So I can essentially just go into my logos panel and have that logo selected. If I click on any of these, now this one is a white logo, that's why you can't really see it. Let me put myself on the other side. This one is a white logo that you can't really see because it's white on white, but if I click on it, it's going to replace it from right over here. Now, I did not click replace, that's why I didn't do it. So I'm going to press Command Z and show you how that works. So there's a replace button right over here. If I click on replace, it's going to open the logos panel. And if I click on the white one, it replaced the white color we had right over here. So I think that's pretty cool because I can just bring it right in here and I don't really need to do any extra steps. Okay. I actually think that I want some color in here, and maybe I want to switch up the design again. So let's actually go ahead and shuffle it and see what happens. Okay, I like this color because it's a nice contrast. So let's actually go in here and actually change the color. So if I have this brand applied, I see that Adobe Express can bring in colors automatically. So I don't really need to go in there and like choose the colors, right? I think this one is looking fine, but I'm going to choose white just for like legibility purposes. And these are my brand fonts. So I'm not changing anything. I just have those brand fonts because I want the cohesive look and feel. I think there are some things here like rectangular shapes just to give it that extra design element. And I'm going to double click in here. And then I'm going to go in here, select a different color. Now, the thing about Instagram Reels and something to remember is that I would want to center all the text in the layout. So if you have it centered, you can also use the reel as the story cover or like a post cover, right? So if I go to my Instagram and show you an example, this is where my Halloween invites or whatever text I have on the reel cover is right here. If I go to my post, it's being cut off. This is a perfect example of why you should place it in the center like I did for this one. So this cover essentially had the text centered. This has the text centered. And so I don't need to care about what elements are on the other sides. You can put design elements on the top and the bottom near the edges. But remember to keep your text in the center, which is what we're going to do today. So right now it is not centered. Let's go ahead and center this text. I'm going to delete this logo because that's not our brand. And I think I want to replace this with a different one. So maybe this guy. Okay. Yeah, I think this looks cool. Oh, that's tiny. That's a tiny logo. But let's actually bring this up here. I'm going to replace these. I'm going to change the placement of these guys. And I'm going to actually see why this is not centering. Okay. Okay, there you go. All right, this is the center. Okay, and this looks like it's too close to the text. So I'm going to bring it up. And again, if you have any questions, let me know in the chat. All right, and then this looks good. I want to decrease the size of the logo just a little bit. Okay. And I don't really think I need this, but I'm just going to let it be for now because maybe I want this. I want to change this in the end. Now, the good thing about this is that I can go ahead and change colors any single time I want. And that's super easy because I don't really need to think about how many changes I want because Adobe Express just enables the fact that I can do it. Okay. Asha in the chat says, what if I need a color wheel to create complementary colors? Does Adobe have that feature in Express? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how colors work. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. Now, this is another feature which is super cool because you can duplicate your pages. With the multiple page feature, I have this option of either creating a new page. So I can create it as the same size that I have right now, or I can change the size over here. Or I can just essentially duplicate that page, right? So I'm going to duplicate the page and see what comes up. And while that is happening, I'm actually going to save this as well, just in case, you know. Sometimes the internet and the browser doesn't work, so you have to take care of all those things. All right. Sean in the chat is talking about coffee. I love it. Love to see it. All right. So I am going to ungroup this just to show you how colors here are working. So we have colors. Now there is custom colors and there are more colors in here as well. So there are colors in here that you can pick and choose from right over here. And there are custom colors that you can go ahead. You can also pick and choose colors from the eyedropper tool. So you don't really have the color wheel in here, but you can go to color.adobe.com and create your own colors. You can bring those colors using Creative Cloud libraries. And essentially this is going to show you, if you just go to color.adobe.com, it's going to show you these steps on how to add these colors into your Adobe Express library. All right. Let me know if that answered that question, or if you need any other explanation. I'm going to delete this page just because I don't want to create another copy. I also want to zoom in just a little bit. So I'm going to go in here and say 150%. I do see that there is some color to this template as well. And it's essentially a shape that's being added, right? So I can just go to shape, I can go to color, and I'm going to change it to this. Okay. Zoom out again, bring it to 75%. And I think this is looking cool. I think it's a really nice and clean design, and I don't really have to do extra effort in here. I do want this to be like a script font, and I love that with Adobe Express and the font integration from Adobe Fonts, you can essentially access all the fonts that you want. So I'm going to double click in the group just to select the subtext or the subtitle that we have, and I see this is what he has selected. I can go to more fonts right over here and select like a calligraphic, maybe like a brush pen font. Okay, what do you guys think? Do you think a brush pen font or a calligraphic font? Asha says, yes, that did. Thank you. Correct. Internet does be funny acting. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I have this bellow script. Ooh, I really like that actually, but it kind of feels like it might be illegible. So thinking about how your text hierarchy is working, where you want the audience's eye to move is really important. So thinking about fresh iced coffees is the first thing that you're gonna see, and then it's 100% natural ingredients, right? So that's actually what we're trying to do. With legibility, you got to make sure, what I do and what my personal fix is, that I would just duplicate this page, and if I want to see how this is going to look like in a post without exporting it or without going to content scheduler to see how my post is looking, I'm going to go in here and resize this for an Instagram post, and this just shows me that this is how it's going to appear. Like, it's going to expand itself and resize itself within the application, and the text is still centered, by the way, so it won't look weird and absurd on your design if it's like bottom, like center in the bottom, or like centered within the grid, right? So having this as like a visual helps you to see how your design is going to look like, and I love that you can do that with the multiple pages feature. All right, so we're done with one reel cover. Now I can show you how to repurpose this reel cover, and we're going to do that by adding animation to it. So while this can actually be the reel cover, this can also be your animation that starts or ends the reel with, right? So it kind of looks like it's a looping video. So you can start with this and then animate it and add it to your video at the end, right? So I'm gonna go to animation right over here, and we have tons and tons of templates. We have everything right above me. You can see this is the animation tab, and we have tons and tons of templates right here. We have text animation. I'm gonna click on it and see what comes up. I really love the typewriter animation. I think this is one of my favorites. We have dynamic, pretty cool. This kind of messes up with the design. Not my personal favorite, but if it is yours, go ahead and use it. We have this. Oh, that is really fast. I don't think I want that. I really like the typewriter. I think typewriter is super fun. But you can also do a color shuffle. This is just gonna shuffle the colors of your brand because you have that brand applied. I don't think I want that because the legibility is being compromised here. I'm gonna go with this one, which is kind of like a color shuffle here, but also again legibility becomes an issue. And obviously not this, because the text is basically becoming invisible. So mix and match with what you want to do with your design. See what works with the colors that you have for the brand, and then you can add animation and you can reuse the reel cover. The idea behind this is essentially using one design, repurposing it, using Adobe Express. You can just do all of this in one web application, and you don't even need to get out of here. So I can just use the typewriter animation, and that's it. And how you can save this is essentially, now I have this guy. I can go to my download button and save the MP4 right over here, or I can save a PNG. And if I go ahead and save a PNG, I can click on start download, and that's it. We already have a reel cover right over here. This is the reel cover that we created. Now this is the PNG. What about the animation? How do I get the animation out? I can go ahead to the same project. Mind you, I'm in the same project right now. I can go ahead, click on the MP4 button and click on start download, and that's it. That's literally all I have to do. It is downloading. I think it's kind of thinking. It's saving right now. That's why it's taking a little bit of time. But that's essentially how you would download the same file as well. All right. Why don't we go ahead and create another one now that we are here? Okay. Let's create another one. I think I want to create like a thank you sort of a thing. Okay, there you go. That's the MP4 that we have created. So this is the MP4. I'm gonna hit play, and there you go. Ta-da! We have an MP4 which you can add at the end of your reel. So it's pretty cool. Penny in the chat says, "Come on, guys, really?" All right, I'm gonna add a new page to this project and say it's the same as this size, which is 1080 by 1920. And then I want to add like a background to this, or maybe like a stock photo. So I'm just gonna look for coffee right in here and see what comes up. Okay, let's see. Ooh, these are some really fun coffees. I love it. I love this one. Now, this one is a premium template. I can tell because there is a crown logo right above me. Over here. Yes. There is a crown logo, and I can just click on it and it'll come up to my background. Now, you can do two things with it. You can either resize it yourself and click on the add to background button, which is super cool. Let me click on this button, and that just centers it automatically for me. And I don't have to go ahead and use the handles. Nothing is manual, right? Adobe Express is doing everything for me. So I just did add to background. That's it. And then if you're not happy with your design, you can you actually want to purposely change it. You can uncheck toggle it off and then click this guy and then save it. Okay. Now it crops it out, but you can essentially undo and add it again, right? So I'm going to leave that as add to background, and I want to add some text to it because, hey, we've gotten 50K followers on our Instagram, and I just want to say thank you to everyone. So I'm going to go to text and maybe like find something for social, right? So there are these templates right here, which are the text templates, and I don't have to do anything in here. I can just go in here and add these designs. I feel like some sort of a badge would be fun for this. This is cool. A link in bio is cool. This is pretty cool. I feel like I'm gonna just show you how that looks. I feel like a lot of us just like do that all the time, and I didn't even know this existed. I'm definitely using that. If you see this on my social media, you know where it's from. I'm gonna go to sign up today. I think, ooh, I really love the reds in this. So let's actually change the text of this. I'm gonna ungroup it and I wanna change the text, okay? So I have sign. I'm gonna say we have 50K, okay? I have 50K followers, whoa. So you can double click into it to edit the text, and then you can write whatever text you want. And love it. Sin in the chat says, I approve of that image choice, color and geometry. Love that. Yeah, Sin, thank you so much for joining. Sin is a photographer, so I love that I get Sin's approval. Thank you. I'm going to delete this. I just selected the text, double clicked it, and deleted the element because I just don't need those anymore. And I'm going to go in here, and then I'm probably going to resize it just a little bit like so. I also want to change the text because I feel like the legibility might be an issue, but let's actually go in here and select something else. Maybe like a Lust script font is pretty cool. I really love that. Here's how it looks. It's a display font. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. Maybe not an italic version again, because I want to think about how legibility comes into play when it's resized, right? So I'm going to put it here. Looks pretty cool. Now, it's looking kind of weird, but that's because this is not our color palette, right? So I'm going to go in here and double click this guy, and then I'm going to change the color. So here are my color palettes, and that looks like it's almost the same color. So I'm going to leave that be. And then I'm going to select everything, and then I'm group it, and probably like something over here, and maybe like a size down version. Now, this doesn't say anything. I'm going to say thank you a latte because, of course, this is coffee, and I'm thankful that I have 50K followers, right? So I'm going to go to text and add some text in here. I have this guy, and now it says the instructions are double click to edit. So I'm going to double click this and say thank you latte, and I want to change the text, like the text color, because again, legibility, I can't see black on black. Think about how contrast works and what you see in the real world. I think it's really important to look at and experience like every day-to-day life, because that really helps you with like concepts and like design choices. It really does make all the difference in the world. So let's actually use white in here, and maybe I'll add like a color overlay or something. So I'm going to go in here and use, a Kaluna Bold. This is actually my font for the brand, but I feel like I need something like very bold in here. So maybe something like a Rooney. I think Rooney is like one of my favorites. It's been like Very cool. It has this font, this typeface has a lot of font weights, and I love that it does because I can reuse the same font family and not have a cohesive design. It's dynamic. Text hierarchy works really well. So I'm just gonna use like a black version. Ooh, I love that. I really do love that. Okay, let me know what you guys think of this. And if you have any questions, again, if you're just joining us, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about how I'm designing this or any particular questions about Adobe Express, make sure to put them in the chat. We are live here on the Adobe Express YouTube channel. So if you want any such content, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube as well. And we'll be happy to answer. And if you're watching this on replay, make sure to leave comments under the video. Okay. That's my spiel. And now we have shapes. Let's actually go in here and add a rectangle shape, okay? So now this is like one of the brand colors, and that's why it's getting this color by default. I'm gonna resize it to the size of my design, and then I'm gonna bring it behind everything that I have, right? And now the image is not visible, so what do? The only thing that you can do here is change the overlay mode or the color. You can either change the opacity in here. If I make it 0, it's not helping me, right? But if I change the opacity and also change the blend mode, that's brilliant. I think I love that. I think that makes the text more legible. If I bring it to the side, that's how it looked before, and this is after. So very cool. Bruce says smooth. Yeah, exactly. That's how you do it. I can change it to any of the brand colors that I have. I can rotate and see how that looks. Now, I really do like the warmth of this, but I don't essentially like how much it's adding, like how much more warmer it is. So maybe I want to change like how the image looks like, right? So I can add effects to my image as well. There are filters, enhancements, and blur. So maybe I add like a blur. Ooh, I love that. It's like there is a coffee, but there isn't. Okay, so it's like you're not really in my face with the coffee design, but you still know that it's a coffee because silhouettes really work here. So I am gonna make it to like 2 or something. Let's actually use the slider here. I'm gonna use 2. Okay, maybe something like a 3. And maybe I actually want this to be like a darker color. What happens if I do this? Yeah, let's do the dark navy blue sort of a color, okay? And I want to add some variation to this design, and that can be done with like brand elements again. So maybe I want to add like a logo, because if you go to the Reels tab, you see the whole page, and this is essentially just for the post size, right? But if I go to my logos panel, I can essentially add like a logo in here as well. Now let's actually add this one with the white and the logo. Oh, this is cool. Adding it right here looks cute as well. But because my text is centered, I usually don't center align it. I left align it, but this looks like it might look like fun with, okay, my internet, hello internet. It's thinking, okay, my file size is super big apparently. But that's essentially how you could add a logo. Let me quickly refresh in here and see what comes up. Okay, it's working. Let's see if you have any questions in chat. General Kenobi is in here. Hey, what's up? How you doing? We have the first page, and then we have the second page, which is loading. And here we have the logo that we added. I think it's the extra space that's causing it. But this is what we have. Now I feel like this is really not legible because like the reds are not clear. So I'm going to add the other one. I hope this does not take away from it. Okay. And I think I want to change the opacity of this a little bit as well. Alright, and now I can bring it back to the other one that I had. Let's see. Alright, or maybe just the white version. Maybe that works. Okay, I think this kind of works. I'm gonna bring it here. That's the center of the design. And then actually, I'm not happy. I'm sorry, I'm just changing on it. Orange on yellow. Wait, where is orange? I don't know. Where's the orange, Jan? Let me know. And then we have this, and I actually want to change the overlay to like a black and see what comes out. Okay, I'm not too mad about that. Yeah. And then the last thing I want to do is essentially size this down just a little bit, because I feel like I want to rotate this to the side and maybe something like this, and then like bring it here and maybe size this down just a little bit like so, just so that there's like margins, and then I'm gonna bring it up here like this. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this is looking nice. Let me know what you Let me know what you think of this and if you would use any of these in your reel covers, and if you ever actually created any reels. That actually brings us to a close. We created 2 reel cover designs for a brand. We learned how to use the brand kit within Adobe Express, how to add animation to your designs, how to blur an image, how to remove backgrounds, how to add backgrounds. It's amazing how much you can do in 30 minutes using Adobe Express and only Adobe Express. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to drop them in the replay. I will be back tomorrow on Adobe Live, but with more Adobe Express content. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Hope you have a great day, and bye for now.